Take a moment to think about someone you admire. It could be Carl Jung, or perhaps another great thinker, writer, or leader. We look at their lives and we see brilliance, depth, and impact that seems almost untouchable. And in that quiet comparison, a thought slips in. I'm not doing enough. My life isn't big enough. But here's the truth. This comparison is a trap, not because their work wasn't extraordinary, but because meaning is not measured the way we've been taught. It isn't just about monumental achievements. It's about something far more intimate. Something that happens quietly in the hidden rooms of the soul. Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, didn't live in a constant blaze of triumph. His life was marked not only by discovery, but by deep self-exploration. He confronted fears, contradictions, and unknown parts of himself. And in that process, he came to believe that the purpose of life is discovered within, not handed down from the heavens. Jung taught that real transformation begins when we stop running from our shadow and begin integrating it. To become your highest self, you must face your darkest self. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who swears they never get angry, and then one day they explode? Or someone who insists they're never jealous, yet they constantly criticize others? That's the shadow breaking through. Integration doesn't mean letting your shadow control you. It means acknowledging it, owning it, and allowing its lessons to make you whole. One of the shadow's most common disguises is judgment. We often dislike in others the very qualities we deny in ourselves. Jung called this projection. It's as if the world becomes a mirror, reflecting back the pieces of us we refuse to see. The person you label selfish might simply be expressing needs you've been taught to suppress. The person you call impatient might be showing you a part of yourself that is restless and yearning for change. Next time someone irritates you deeply, pause. Ask, what does this remind me of? In me? That single question can open the door to profound self-awareness. How do you begin this work? In stillness, in silence, with a journal, a pen, and questions that no one else can answer for you. What am I hiding from others? What am I hiding from myself? This isn't glamorous. It can feel uncomfortable, even painful. But here's the paradox. The discomfort is the doorway. It's the proof that you found something real. The moment you recognize your shadow, you can't unsee it. And yes, you may feel worse before you feel better. But repression is not healing, it's delay. What you bury grows stronger. In the dark, each emotion in your shadow carries a message. Anger can teach you about your boundaries. Envy can reveal your hidden desires. Laziness might be resistance to a life that isn't aligned with your truth. Even impatience has its place. It can be the push that gets you moving. The key is not to label these emotions as good or bad, but to listen to them, because your shadow was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to complete you, but shadow work alone isn't enough. Self-discovery without action becomes another form of avoidance. Once you've looked inward, you must step outward. You must live with intention. Ask yourself, what do I believe in? What am I here to contribute? What actions align with my deepest values? If you dream of writing a book, write. If you dream of making a difference, start with the smallest act you can take today. Part 8 to 3 minutes. Fear is the great barrier, not laziness, not lack of talent. Fear. To act is to risk. And where your fear is, Jung says, there lies your task. Don't run from it. Ask, what's the worst that could happen? And how would I handle it? When you meet fear head-on, it often shrinks. It stops being a monster in the shadows and becomes a challenge you can face. Even when you act, life won't be perfect. It will include pain, disappointment, and failure. But these are not the opposite of purpose. They are part of it. If you never knew sadness, how could you appreciate joy? If you never struggled, how could you recognize strength? Every setback is a mirror, showing you a new part of yourself. And every time you rise again, you are living your purpose. Your life's meaning isn't in a distant destination. It's in the steps you take today. It's in how you face yourself honestly. It's in your willingness to act, even when no one is watching. Remember, the soul's journey is not toward perfection. It's toward integration, toward wholeness. Honor the small steps. Honor the quiet resilience. Honor the fact that you keep showing up. Gratitude, presence, courage. These are not small things. They are the foundation of a life well-lived. So walk your path, face your shadow, live with truth, and trust that every honest step you take is sacred. Not written on a billboard, not found in someone else's definition of success. He called this process individuation, becoming who you truly are. And it's not easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest things you will ever attempt, because it requires honesty with yourself at a level most people never reach. At the core of Jung's work is the understanding that the psyche, your mind, your inner being, is not one thing. There's the conscious part, your ego. That's the you think about when you say I am. But beneath the ego lies the unconscious. And hidden deep within that unconscious is something Jung called the shadow. The shadow is not evil by nature. It's simply everything you've pushed away. The anger you were told to suppress, the desires you felt ashamed of, the thoughts you feared would make others reject you. We push them down, but they do not vanish. In fact, the more we deny them, the more they influence us from behind the scenes. They show up in our habits, our triggers, the patterns we repeat without understanding why.